Forward TV. The world is thinking.
What was once known as assertive management has today been redefined as bullying. Managers using statistics to oversee employees' work, managers setting performance targets, sales targets, which are looked upon as unrealistic. So, for me, bullying as a definition is much, much too broad, as defined by the TUC, HR organizations. It's so broad that I would argue that bullying has come to mean everything, and in that sense, nothing. Real bullying, therefore, is trivialized. I'm not particularly surprised, my second point, that bullying, there's so much preoccupation with bullying. Because if you look at work, relations at work are very much deemed as problematic. Many of our experiences at work seem to be sources of emotional distress, experiences which need external help or need professional people. Work is described as toxic. Even something like the work-life balance discussion which goes on sometimes starts from the premise that there is a problem with work. So in this context, I'm not particularly surprised that bullying at work, so many people are preoccupied by it. And it's no surprise that many of us at work are constantly asked, how are we coping at work? If you look at risk assessment surveys, for instance, and you look under working relationships, you're asked these questions. Have you been bullied or harassed in the past year? Do you know anyone else who's been bullied? If you've been bullied or harassed, which of the following happened to you? Ganging up, physical attacks, threats, bad language. The tone is very negative, and it's in this context that I would situate the bullying at work discussion. My third and final point is that the responses to bullying at work helps speed up our infantilization at work. We're treated like children, treated as vulnerable individuals who need to be protected, if you like, from the unpleasantness that happens at work. I'll give you an example. You know someone who's playing practical jokes on you. There are two kinds of responses. One, you talk to that person directly, you talk to your colleagues at work, and you deal with this irritation. That is an informal response. The second response is the formal response, where you complain of being bullied to your line manager, which may or may end up at some stage a disciplinary action. For me, the first response is the adult response, the one where you take control of the situation, you discuss with your fellow colleagues at work, and you do something about it. The second response puts you in a position where, which is a little bit vulnerable, dependent on someone else, whether it be your line manager, your HR manager, your TUC official, or your psychologist. And it undermines, if you like, our ability to work autonomously. It is damaging. So in conclusion, I would argue that we have to question the way in which bullying at work is defined, the way in which it is discussed at work. And the next time you see a problem which someone else talks to you about, or you think it is bullying, then I'd argue far better pursue the informal way of talking to your colleagues at work and dealing with it than using the codes of conduct, the work policies, and ultimately having someone else out there to solve the problem for you.